my beautiful friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Anna, and today I'm going to show you to make my Cuban chicken noodle soup. It's flu season and there's nothing more comforting than some chicken noodle soup when you're sick. It just makes you feel 1,000 times better. It's just so delicious, and this is the soup I grew up eating. It's pretty similar to like the traditional American chicken noodle soup, but it does have a few ingredients that are a bit different. As you can see, I don't have many ingredients in front of me at the moment because the first thing we're going to focus on is making the stock for our chicken noodle soup. I'm going to start by roasting the chicken. So all I'm going to do is simply drizzle a little bit of olive oil all over. I have some leg quarters here. You can use any type of chicken you like. I really prefer a bone-in. You can use leg quarters like I'm doing. You can use just a drumstick. You can do chicken thighs, but make sure they are bone-in, skin on, because that will develop so much flavor. I'm going to add a little bit of salt, and I'm also going to add some pepper, but my hands are dirty and I don't want to use that pepper, so I'm just gonna add some already cracked pepper. Okay, so this is going to go into our preheated oven. I have my oven preheating at 425. I'm gonna pop this in there onto the skin. It's really nice and golden. This is going to deepen our broth so much more. You don't really have to roast your chicken if you don't want to, but in my opinion, it's highly recommended. It's going to deepen your broth so much more. It's going to provide so much flavor. If you don't want to roast the chicken to make the stock, you can just add it with the rest of the ingredients that I'm going to show you in just a bit once the chicken comes out of the oven. We are not looking for the chicken to cook. We just want it to develop some really nice flavors. I'm going to pop this in my oven, top rack, so the skin gets really nice and crispy. Like I said, we don't want it to cook completely. We just want the skin to get really nice and golden. Chicken is roasting. Here's the rest of the ingredients you are going to need, and that is some red and green pepper. You can use just one type of pepper. I like to use red and green. Some onion, garlic, celery, carrots. These are culantro leaves. These are coriander leaves. This is kind of like a cilantro. It smells so much deeper and stronger than cilantro. If you can get your hands on culantro leaves, this is how they come. So I can show you culantro. You can just use some cilantro for it. You're also going to need some sweet potato, but this is not the regular sweet potato. This is I believe it's sold as the Oriental or Japanese sweet potato. You're going to need regular potatoes, some cumin, oregano, a packet of sazon Goya with culantro natural. I'm gonna leave it. Remember, you can find all of the ingredients in the description box. I have the link to my website at anitasrecipes.com, where you can find pretty much everything you're gonna need. You're also going to need some bay leaves. I don't know if I said some tomato paste, but you're gonna need some of that, and you're also going to need some water. Okay, so first thing, and you're also going to need a little bit more of olive oil. So the first thing I'm going to do while the chicken is roasting, I'm going to work on my sofrito. So I'm going to add garlic, both peppers and onions right into my pot. I'm just gonna let this cook for a little bit until the peppers and the onions have softened quite a lot. I'm also going to be adding my seasoning mix. My sofrito is looking wonderful. This is what the sofrito looks like, and this is pretty much done. Okay, so my chicken just came out of the oven, so I'm going to add it right in here along with the celery. I like to do chunky celery because I'm going to remove it anyways. If you know me, you know that I don't really like celery. So I'm going to add my cumin and oregano. I'm also going to add my chicken bouillon cube. I'm just breaking it up with my fingers a little bit, just like so. Bay leaves, my culantro. I'm also going to add 2 whole carrots just like that. I'm going to remove that as well. I'm going to add some tomato paste. Okay, now that our ingredients are in there, I'm going to add the water. We're gonna give this a good mix. Now we're gonna bring this to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, we are going to lower the heat and we're gonna let it simmer for about 20 minutes. My soup has been cooking, so all I'm gonna do now is remove, like I said, the celery. If you like celery, you can actually, you can dice it and leave it in there. Like I've said before, I love the flavor celery. I can't speak right now. I love the flavor celery provides to stocks and soups, but I don't really like to eat celery, so I'm just going to remove all of mine. Okay, so I'm going to remove the chicken. I did go ahead and cut it, so it'll be easier for me to shred. The chicken's already falling apart. So this is gonna be so yummy. Should have used tongs to do this part, but okay, so as I'm shredding the chicken, I'm going to add the potatoes and the sweet potato now. That way they start cooking, since they're gonna take about 20 more minutes, so they can start cooking. As I'm shredding the chicken, I'm also going to add, forgot to mention, I like to add some corn. These are just some frozen corn kernels. My diced carrots. This is already smelling incredible. And also you're going to need your noodles. This is what's traditionally used with Cuban chicken noodle soup. These are called fidellini, I believe. These are just, or you can also use some angel hair. If you don't have fidellini, just cut the angel hair in half so it's not as long, or you can leave it long if you want. I'm not gonna add the noodles to the whole thing because I am planning on freezing pretty much half of this soup. It freezes really well, but you don't want to freeze it with the noodles, because once you reheat it, the noodles are going to thicken up the soup a little too much for my liking, and you know, it's just not good in my opinion. But that's cooking. I'm going to start shredding my chicken, so I'm gonna do that and I'm gonna see you back here in just a second. Okay, so I am about done shredding the chicken. So you can see there's only bones and skin behind, because I don't want any of the bones and skin. I just want the actual meat. This is looking pretty shredded, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the meat back into the pot. Once the potatoes are tender, I'm going to add the noodles. I'm gonna let that cook for about 2 minutes, because that's how much, oops, I just burned myself, because that's how much it takes. This is optional, but I will not eat chicken noodle soup without lime juice, so I'm gonna get a little bit of lime juice. I'm also going to get some fresh cilantro, not the culantro, the other one, the cilantro, and I'm gonna put it right on top, and this is gonna be delicious. So I'm just gonna let the potatoes cook. You can see they're almost tender, so it's only gonna take like 10 more minutes, and I'll be right back. I've added the noodles, as you probably can't tell, but I removed what I was gonna save. There's about 4 cups of soup. So I said I added the noodles. I'm gonna serve myself some soup. Once you add the noodles, it will thicken up the broth a little bit more from the starch, so keep that in mind. This is a delicious bowl of soup. I have some fresh cilantro here. I'm gonna add, I love fresh cilantro in my soup. I'm also going to add the rest to my pot, and I'm going to drizzle this with some fresh, this lime doesn't have any juice. I like a lot of lime juice in my soup. I also did taste it for seasoning before I added the noodles, just to make sure Everything was well seasoned, and I did add a little bit of salt because remember, we really didn't add much salt because the chicken bouillon cube is quite salty, so you don't want to over salt. This is what my soup looks like. Look at that. This is absolutely perfection. I'm gonna let this cool just a bit. I want to get some potato. It's gonna be so yummy. The perfect, so hot. I have water coming out of my nose. The perfect bowl of Cuban chicken noodle soup. This is absolute perfection. I love them. I love the sweet potato, the corn, the carrots, the chicken, the noodles. Everything just goes together so well. I hope you guys enjoyed this recipe, and I hope you learn how to make Cuban chicken noodle soup, and I can't wait for you guys to try it. Remember, written recipe on my website, anitasdelightsrecipes.com, or in the description box I will leave a link to it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.